What's up, JR Noble here, and I was going through my record collection because what I like to do sometimes is listen to other people's songs and take ideas and inspiration from those. And one in particular that's a particular favorite of mine is this guy, Jim Croce. And so I borrowed some music from him. I also like to study the music in different ways. So what I did was I recorded a sample of one of the songs, a song called Operator. So I got that into Ableton and I warped it. And then what I wanted to do was figure out what chords and chord progressions he was using to see if possibly I could use that in my own way in a different song. So one thing about chords and chord progressions too, if so sampling is something that you want to get clearance for if you're going to use samples in other people's music, samples of other people's music in your own music. However, one thing that's not covered under copyright law is chord progressions. So you can actually go in and borrow chord progressions from other songs. So with that in mind, I wanted to kind of jump in and figure out what chords and chord progressions he was using for this particular song. Now, this MIDI clip, if you look here, it's a lot of different MIDI notes here. And the interesting thing, well, I'll get more into this in a second. I'll play you the original just section of this song, and then I'll play you the piano chords that I kind of made from it. So the original sample is this. So let me untranspose it for a second. I'm gonna turn that down and just play just this guy right here. So let's stop this.
Isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that and give me the number if you can't find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to show I've overcome the blow. I've learned to take it well. I only wish my words could just convince myself that it just wasn't real, but that's not the way it feels. But isn't
So that's the section of the song that I was playing with right now and figuring out what chords he was using for that part of the song. And I was able to go in and figure it out. Now, the reason the chords, if I just played the chords the way I have them here, it would sound different than the song because I transposed it 7 semitones up. And what that means, if you're not familiar, is that I just took the song and I pitched it. So I took the pitch of the song and changed it. Now, what that does is it actually changes the chords that I'm going to use for this particular song. So the original key of the song was in G. At least I thought it was in G major. So by transposing it up 7 semitones, then it takes it to a different scale. And if you go up 7 semitones from G major, it makes it a D major. Now, if you have trouble with music theory and stuff, don't worry about it. I'm going to break this down here for you in just a second. So I'm going to go over to my piano here and pull up this float 88 key. So then what I mean by that, if I start with G, and this is the G major scale, right? And if I play that song, I can play along with it, and it should sound like every note that I play is in key with this song. So now if I play this with this, the G major scale,
Isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that and give me the number if you can't find it, so I can call just to tell them
so you can see I'm not even really trying to play anything serious. I'm just hitting a bunch of notes and staying in the G major scale. So I know that that should be the key of the song. So now what I did was I took this and I transposed it up 7 semitones. So if I take it up 7 semitones, that means I'm just going from G, and then I go up 7 semitones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and leaves me at D. So now if I play this song with the transposition up 7 semitones, and I play anything in the D major scale, then I should still be in the key of the song, and I can make the chords and chord progressions based off of that scale.
Isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that and give.
So you can see it's really easy to start playing along with that song and starting to figure out what notes he's actually playing. So now with that, I have this song and I have these chords that I played. So I'll play just the piano chords now. And the interesting thing about these chords, if you look at it, he's playing a lot of the same chords. It's D, it's basically like, I think D major, G major, A minor or A major, and then an F or E minor. So then I think that's for the most part, that's the main chords that are in this. So you have the D major, E minor, G major, A major. So those are the 4 chords that he's kind of using throughout this. And if you look at the progression of this these chords, right? So it looks like it's fairly even, kind of staying here, then dips down a little bit towards the end of these first 4 bars. So there's this first bar, the second bar, third bar, and fourth bar. And in this fourth bar, you see it drops down a little bit. And then in the fifth bar, it lifts up the chords a little bit, and then it swoops it all the way back down towards the 13th and 14th bars, and then it lifts up a little bit, but not by much. And so the really cool thing about all of this is when you go through and you figure out the chords and the progression that they're using these chords in for a song, you can start to see how they add a lot of movement to a song just by using the chords. And I think that's awesome. And so it's really great when I pull out songs like this by musicians who spend a lot of time working with all this stuff. It's really great to see their process, kind of like how they put the song together, and then use that in my own way to kind of create a lot of movement with the chords and stuff that I use maybe in a song of mine. All right, so that is just breaking down some of the music concepts behind all of this. So he really only used about 4 chords. I think maybe jumps into a different chord in there when he kind of walks this stuff down. I think he adds in the what is it, the F sharp major, or sorry, F sharp minor. So I think that's one thing that he adds in there. And let me pull up that float key again so you can see what those chords are. So if it's the D major chord, right? So this is one of the chords he uses. Starts with a D, F sharp, A, and then he's also using the E minor, E, G, A, or B, sorry, and then the G major. So we got G, B, D, and then A major, A, C sharp, and E. And those are kind of the 4 chords that he's using. But now we can take a look at how he's using those chords throughout here. All right, so this chord where it drops down is actually just another G chord, but it's played a little bit lower. All right, so you can see that those keys are those ones. And now you see that it's the same chords, but he's playing them in different octaves, right? So instead of playing that G chord up here, he's playing that G chord down here. And so it gives it some movement from this D and comes down. All right, so you can use those chords and start to move around. And so now that I understand the chords and kind of what he was using, I'm able to start splitting up into different sections of the song, and I can start to produce some things around that and make a remix of it, or I can just use those chord progressions to make my own original track if I like. I didn't really do much with these first ones. I just I picked out this last section of the song Operator, and with the pitched vocals, I think I already played those. I'll play just that last little section, all right, with the piano. Let me mute this guy out. It sounds like this.
Just convince myself that it just wasn't real, but that's not the way it feels. Just convince myself that it just wasn't real, but that's not the way it feels.
So that's just to give you an idea of what that last little bit sounds like. And now when I add in those chords, I also did a little bit of production behind this too, just to play around with it. I had some ideas I wanted to mess with, so I threw in some horns, a little bass, and some drums, kick and a snare. Nothing super fancy, but just to give you a sense of what you can do with something like this once you understand the chords in a particular song and how you can make a remix of it, or you can even pull out the sample once you have the chords and chord progressions, and then make a song based off of those chords that you found. So it sounds a little bit like this. If I'll play the original sample, right, with the piano, and then I'll play this little remixy kind of breakdown section that I did at the end of it, just with that last kind of section.
Isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that and give me the number if you can't find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to
All right, so you can see how we can quickly start to make a remix out of something like that, where now we have the chords, and I know the right notes to play, so then I can add in something like this big horn stab with just a little bass right there, and then a kick and a snare, and now we have ourselves what sounds like the starts of a remix. And just real quick, the sample right here, all I did in order to kind of flip that sample was I took that last section where he says, "That's not the way it feels," and I brought it over into this view right here, and I just chopped it up. So all I did was I grabbed out this last little section here, and if I take this and bring it over to here and open this up. So now all I did was I took "That's just the way it feels."
That's not the way it feels.
And that's not the way it feels. And I just duplicated that out a few times. And then I took that part, took that first kind of quarter note or that segment of it, copied it, and pasted it just before that. So now you have,
That's not the way it. That's not the way it feels. That's not the way it feels.
and then I got rid of that last part. And then we just take this last section here. We can hit Command D to duplicate it and then move that over. I think that put it right there. And then duplicate that again and put on the 4. So it's a little offbeat right here, and then it's back on the beat. So then it sounds like this.
That's not the way it. That's not the way it feels. That's not the way it feels. Feels. That's not the way.
And then all you have to do is highlight that whole section, Command J to consolidate it all. And then when I go back over to here, that's what you're looking at in this clip right here. So now I have that little chopped up sample, and I was able to add in some horns and some drums, and you get what sounds like a remix. All right, so that's a really quick breakdown of some music theory concepts and how you can pull chords and chord progressions from other people's songs. And then what you can do is take those chords and those chord progressions that you found and either use them for your own track or start to add layers and add in stuff for a remix. If you'd like to keep up with information like this, then make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that way you can get access to videos like this as they come out. And also make sure you drop a comment below to let me know what you liked best about this video. You can also head over to jrnoble.co for more information, tips, and tutorials on music production. Until next time, peace out, Girl Scout.